Okay, I'm taking some white, mostly white, a touch of green, which is what? Blue and yellow, right? Just a touch, not much. It almost looks white, doesn't it? But it's really green. Okay, so my ground, it goes down and up and down and up, right? So the water is down here in the bottom of the gully. If it was like out in nature, that's where the water would be. So I'm going to put trees there, okay, because they're going to be where the water is. So I'm going to start back here. I'm going to go clear up here into the sky and make a thin line, and as I come down, my line gets wider and wider and wider. And if it gets a little crooked, that's great, okay, no problem. You want to kind of get it straight, but if it's not straight, it's no big deal. Got it?
Need a little drip going here.
Right?
Huh?
That's for a tree, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a tree.
Not all trees are straight.
No trees are straight, man. I never seen a straight tree ever, not completely. Don't mean they won't exist, but I never seen one. Now, here's the deal. There's that tree, right? Now, the next tree I'm going to put in here, and it's going to be a little bit wider, just a touch bigger. Okay, why is it bigger? Because it's coming closer to me. Alright, so I'm creating depth by doing that. And I'm just making my color as I go along. I want this one right here. And the height of the tree doesn't really matter a lot, okay, because it's arbitrary. It can be whatever. I mean, this tree could be closer to me and be half the size of this tree, but because it's closer to me, it's taller. It looks taller, but it's not. So this tree is probably taller than this tree, even though they look like they're the same height, but this one is closer, so it's actually a shorter tree. So the height of the tree doesn't really matter. I could have made that taller if I'd have wanted to, or I could have made it shorter. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing here and here and here, and that's where I'm doing it, in my low ground. Okay, but I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put another tree that's a little farther away, and another tree that's a little farther away, and another tree that's a little farther away. Now these trees, now they're farther back, okay? But the bottoms they're not on like a straight line. So the farther down the picture plane, the closer the tree is to me. Alright, so that's an important thing. And I'm down here, I'm going to do one more down here in the front. And this one I'm going to add a little more white, because I want it to be a little lighter than the other ones. Why? Who knows? Because it's closer to me, and so the value is going to be brighter. It's the same color but brighter. Alright? So I'm going to put it right here. So wait, you got that? I'm building this tree just like you would build a building. Okay, foundation first. Now I can get me a brush that comes to a nice point when it's full of paint. You see that? And I can use that point and I can make branches. Got it? And that up here. But now, this is a Quaking and aspen tree. So, one of the things that Quaking and aspen trees have, they have dark branches, don't they? So, not all their branches are dark, but they have some, a lot of them are. And plus they have rough edges. I'm going to take just a touch of white and tone down. This is Payne's gray, but you guys will be using black. So I tone it down and make a nice dark gray. Alright? Now I can go in here and can make that. And one of the things, see, if I start my branch here in the center of the trunk and go whichever way, doesn't matter. Because I started in the center of the trunk, this branch now looks like it's coming towards me. If I go back here and start at the edge of the trunk and come up, that branch is now going away from me. Okay? So that gives you, you don't want your branches all just like sprouting out to the side. Some go forward, some go back. Okay, and then I'm just going to add some things. Just little touches. All the way down. Real simple, huh? Not complicated. Now, my light's coming this way, right? So I want kind of a shadow. So I go back in, and I didn't clean my brush out, but I mixed it with some more white, and so I have a gray. And it's darker than the light green that I used. And I come down the far side of the trunk, and I put this gray in there. And it gives me kind of a nice curve around there. And then also, there's a thing called, if you remember, if you were in my foundations class, and you did the drawings of the sphere and the cone, you guys remember that? So there's a thing called the core shadow. And the core shadow is darker than the shadow, and it's inside the shadow too. Doesn't have to be something serious, just a suggestion, and it gives it a nice round look, okay? And then I'm going to clean out my brush a little bit. I'm going to go back and get some more white and mix it in with that green white that I made to make the trunk just a touch. It's a little whiter, it's still a little green, you can see that, right? But just a touch. And then I'm going to come down and just on the edge of things and make a highlight, and it doesn't have to be, it can be broken, it doesn't have to be a straight line. And your shadow is the same. It can be broken, it doesn't have to be a straight line. Picking up a little paint from underneath. I don't want that. What I do want is and now my trunk looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, you got to do that same process for all the trunks. Okay, so you got trunks over here, trunks here, trunks here. Wait, we're not done yet. I'm going to try and you're going to dry brush the leaves in. You got that? I'll clean my brush out. This is an expensive brush, I don't want it ruined. This brush right here, this is Rudson Red Sable, hand built. Cost me 30 bucks, this brush. Okay, but I'll probably paint with it for the rest of my life. I have a Red Sable brush that over there, and my other paint brushes that I've been painting with for 30 years. It's still one of my favorite brushes. Okay, now I'm going to dry brush. We're going to do leaves. Remember when I went like this and just kind of separated everything? So I'm going back to my green. I want a little yellow. I'm going to get a little yellow out. I'll get my green. I got a nice, not too dark, not too light green, okay? And here we go. Brush, brush, brush. Brush, 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 brush. Simple, huh? I'm not painting the house, it's not real thick. It's just dab, 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 dab. And I got a lot of space in there. What are you laughing at, dabbing? What, do you want me to paint on your face, Matt? That's a great canvas, don't move. Okay, and then I'm going to take some more yellow and lighten that up a little bit. And I'm going to try to decide in my head where the light is striking. And the light is striking here. A little bit on the edge out here. Now I got two values going on. I want one more value. I'm going to dab some white into my, I didn't clean my brush. I kept the yellow in it. So when I put the white on it, it just makes it, the yellow lighter. So I still have all of this green and yellow and stuff. It all has yellow in it. Yellow is the common factor. And now I'm going to put on highlights, and it's also got yellow in it. And just gently touch. Gently touch. Gently touch. And there's my tree. Now, when you're doing this, do all of these in the background first. I just did this big one up front so that you could see it. But do the ones in the back first, and then work your way forward. Okay, I won't have no problem doing the ones in the back and then painting over it again. No big deal. Everybody got it? There you go.
I think so.
Go to work.
No.
Paint trees.